First contact in the void. The endless expanse of space stretched before the ESS Prometheus, like a canvas of infinite possibility, its darkness punctuated by the dying light of a distant red giant. Captain Isabella Rivers stood at the bridge's observation deck, her weathered hands clasped behind her back, as she studied the unusual radiation patterns emanating from the failing star system. "Captain, those energy signatures we detected, they're not natural," Lieutenant Kaido Nakamura announced from his station, dark eyes fixed on the quantum scanner readings. "The patterns suggest artificial manipulation of stellar matter, but the technology required for that would be—" He trailed off, shaking his head in disbelief. Isabella moved to his station, her silver-streaked hair catching the soft blue glow of the holographic displays. After 20 years of deep space exploration, she learned to trust her crew's instincts. "Show me." The display expanded, revealing complex wave patterns that pulsed with an almost organic rhythm. The radiation didn't simply flow outward from the dying star. It curved and twisted in impossible ways, as if being actively shaped by an unseen force. "Director Thompson will want us to report this and wait for instructions," Commander James Walsh said from his tactical station, his voice carrying the weight of protocol. The mission's civilian overseer had made it clear that first contact scenarios were to be handled with extreme caution. Isabella's gray eyes narrowed as she studied the readings. By the time instructions arrive, whatever's causing this could be gone. "Helm, take us closer. Tactical, shields at maximum." The Prometheus glided forward, its advanced sensors probing the strange phenomenon. As they approached, the ship's AI flagged an anomaly. A structure floating amid the stellar debris, its surface reflecting the red giant's dying light in ways that defied physics. "It's a ship," Kaido breathed, enhancing the visual feed. "But like nothing we've ever encountered. The hull appears to be composed of some kind of crystalline matrix, but it's growing? No, adapting. The structure is actively responding to the star's radiation." Isabella leaned forward, studying the alien vessel. Its design suggested an intelligence that had evolved far beyond human understanding of spacecraft architecture. The ship seemed to have been grown rather than built, its crystalline surfaces flowing like frozen liquid. "Life signs?" she asked, though she already suspected the answer. A vessel this sophisticated wouldn't be abandoned here without reason. "1. Senior Medical Officer Dr. Ria Patel replied, her voice tight with excitement. "But it's unlike anything in our database. The biosignature suggests a crystalline structure similar to the ship itself, but with complex energy patterns that indicate consciousness." The alien vessel suddenly pulsed with internal light, and a transmission burst through their communications array. It wasn't audio or video, but rather a complex stream of data that caused their systems to momentarily fluctuate. "It's reaching out," Kaido said, his fingers flying over the controls. "The patterns, they're not random. There's a clear mathematical sequence. Whatever's over there, it's trying to communicate." Isabella made her decision. "Dr. Patel, prep Medical Bay for a potentially non-organic life form. Commander Walsh, ready a rescue team. I'll lead the—" Her orders were cut short by a massive energy surge from the dying star. The alien vessel's crystalline structure began to fracture, its surfaces dimming as the star's increasing radiation overwhelmed its adaptive capabilities. "The ship's failing," Kaido reported urgently. "That life sign is growing weaker. 5 minutes, maybe less, before total structural collapse." Isabella straightened her uniform. No time for a formal rescue protocol. "Commander, you have the bridge. Dr. Patel, you're with me. We're going over there." As she strode toward the emergency shuttle bay, Isabella knew she was violating at least a dozen first contact procedures. But she hadn't spent 2 decades exploring the stars to watch an intelligent life form die when she had the power to prevent it. The rescue shuttle launched moments later, navigating through a field of crystalline debris. As they drew closer, the alien vessel's deterioration became more apparent. Fractures spread across its surface like spider webs, each crack leaking streams of ethereal light into the void. Through the shuttle's viewport, Isabella caught her first glimpse of the being they detected. It floated in what appeared to be the vessel's control center, a humanoid form composed of living crystal, its internal light pulsing with decreasing strength. The sight was both beautiful and heartbreaking. "My God," Dr. Patel whispered, already scanning the being with their most advanced medical equipment. The complexity of its biological structure, it's extraordinary, but it's destabilizing rapidly. The crystalline being turned toward their shuttle, its form emanating patterns of light that their systems translated into pure mathematical concepts. Fear, pain, hope, emotions expressed through universal constants rather than words. Isabella activated the shuttle's external lights in a deliberate pattern, matching the mathematical rhythm of the aliens' communication. "We're here to help," she thought, hoping the simple message would translate across the cosmic divide between their species. The response came immediately. A surge of energy that created a temporary bridge between their vessels, defying everything humans knew about physics. The being was inviting them in, using its dying strength to give them a chance to help. As Isabella sealed her pressure suit, she knew that whatever happened next would change humanity's understanding of life itself. The real question was, could human ingenuity find a way to save a life form that challenged everything they thought they knew about biology? Through the growing cascade of crystalline fragments, Isabella led her team toward their first true contact with an alien intelligence, carrying humanity's compassion into the unknown. The price of compassion. The crystalline being's light dimmed further as Isabella and Dr. Patel crossed the energy bridge into the alien vessel. Their suit sensors registered impossible readings. The entire structure around them seemed to exist in a state between matter and energy, defying conventional physics. "These readings suggest the ship isn't just carrying technology," Dr. Patel said, studying her medical scanner. "It is technology, living technology, integrated with its pilot at a quantum level." The alien's form flickered weakly as they approached. Up close, its crystalline body resembled a latticework of frozen starlight, each facet containing swirling patterns that hinted at profound complexity. Through their suits' communication systems came pulses of mathematical concepts that their computers struggled to translate. "Danger," Kaido's voice crackled through their comms. "The star's radiation is increasing exponentially. We're picking up something else. Multiple signatures emerging from subspace." The crystalline being's patterns suddenly shifted, projecting images directly into their minds. Isabella gasped as understanding flooded her consciousness. They weren't just seeing the aliens' memories. They were experiencing them. A vast civilization of crystal beings, living in harmony with stars they had transformed into computational matrices. Then came the hunters, massive void-black ships that consumed light itself, piloted by entities that fed on stellar energy and the unique radiation produced by the crystal beings' technology. The hunters had systematically destroyed every transformed star, forcing the crystal beings to flee across the galaxy. "She's the last," Isabella whispered, the revelation hitting her like a physical blow. "The last of her entire species." "Captain," Commander Walsh's urgent voice cut through the moment. "3 unknown vessels just emerged from FTL. Their energy signatures match nothing in our database, but they're producing some kind of anti-light field." The crystal being's communication became more urgent, her internal light pulsing in complex patterns that their translators finally began to decode. "Hunters come. Must flee. Help. Please. Dr. Patel, can we move her?" Isabella demanded, watching fractures spread through the alien's crystalline form. "Her molecular structure is critically unstable," Patel replied, adjusting her scanner. "The transit alone could shatter her." But the doctor's eyes widened as she studied a particular reading. "Captain, her quantum signature is resonating with our ship's dark matter core. If we could somehow synchronize the frequencies." Another burst of images from the crystal being. Technical schematics and theoretical physics that made Isabella's head spin. The alien wasn't just asking for rescue. She was offering the knowledge they'd need to save her. The hunters will be in weapons range in 3 minutes, Walsh reported. Their vessels are consuming the background radiation. I've never seen anything like it. Isabella made her decision. Kaito, initiate emergency power protocols. Reroute everything we can spare to the dark matter core. Dr. Patel, start feeding these alien schematics into the ship's quantum computer. We're going to attempt something that's either brilliant or suicidal. The crystal being's form brightened momentarily. Approval. Isabella somehow knew. But the alien's next transmission carried something else. Warning. The hunters weren't just pursuing her. They were pursuing her knowledge. If they captured her, they would gain the secrets of stellar engineering that her civilization had developed over millennia. 2 minutes to intercept, Walsh announced. The hunter vessels they're bending light around themselves. Our targeting systems can't get a lock. Everyone back to the shuttle, Isabella ordered. Doctor, help me set up a quantum resonance field. We're going to try to stabilize her structure long enough for transport. As they worked, the crystal being shared one final series of images, the hunters consuming transformed stars, using the stolen energy to create weapons that could unmake reality itself. The fate of more than one civilization now rested on their success or failure. The hunters' ships loomed closer, their black forms visible now as holes in space itself, consuming the light of the dying star. Inside the alien vessel, Isabella and her team raced against time, using technology they barely understood to save a being they had just met. Field stabilizing. Dr. Petal reported, her voice tense with concentration. But we need more power. The resonance isn't strong enough to maintain her quantum cohesion during transport. Isabella looked at their visitor, seeing in those crystalline facets not just an alien being, but a person. Someone who had lost everything but still fought to protect others from her people's fate. Prometheus, divert power from life support and artificial gravity. Everything except emergency systems. Give us everything you've got. The hunter vessels opened fire, their weapons releasing streams of anti-light that began to dissolve the crystalline ship's outer layers. Through their mental connection, Isabella felt the aliens' fear, not for herself, but for them. The hunters would show no mercy to those who aided their prey. As emergency klaxons blared and the ship's systems strained under the power demands, Isabella faced a truth that would haunt her forever. Sometimes the price of compassion was facing an enemy you were never meant to survive. The crystal being's light pulsed once more, sharing not just information now, but emotion, gratitude, hope, and something else. A gift, encoded in mathematical patterns that began rewriting the Prometheus's quantum systems from the inside out. The hunters closed in, their weapons ready to harvest another civilization's dreams. But on the dying crystal ship, humanity was about to prove that courage could rewrite the laws of physics themselves. The price of compassion. The crystalline being's light dimmed further as Isabella and Dr. Petal crossed the energy bridge into the alien vessel. Their suit's sensors registered impossible readings. The entire structure around them seemed to exist in a state between matter and energy, defying conventional physics. These readings suggest the ship isn't just carrying technology, Dr. Patel said, studying her medical scanner. It is technology. Living technology, integrated with its pilot at a quantum level. The alien's form flickered weakly as they approached. Up close, its crystalline body resembled a latticework of frozen starlight, each facet containing swirling patterns that hinted at profound complexity. Through their suit's communication systems came pulses of mathematical concepts that their computers struggled to translate. Danger! Kaido's voice crackled through their comms. The star's radiation is increasing exponentially. We're picking up something else. Multiple signatures emerging from subspace. The crystalline being's patterns suddenly shifted, projecting images directly into their minds. Isabella gasped as understanding flooded her consciousness. They weren't just seeing the aliens' memories. They were experiencing them. A vast civilization of crystal beings, living in harmony with stars they had transformed into computational matrices. Then came the hunters, massive void-black ships that consumed light itself, piloted by entities that fed on stellar energy and the unique radiation produced by the crystal being's technology. The hunters had systematically destroyed every transformed star, forcing the crystal beings to flee across the galaxy. "She's the last," Isabella whispered, the revelation hitting her like a physical blow. "The last of her entire species." "Captain," Commander Walsh's urgent voice cut through the moment. "3 unknown vessels just emerged from FTL. Their energy signatures match nothing in our database, but they're producing some kind of anti-light field." The crystal being's communication became more urgent, her internal light pulsing in complex patterns that their translators finally began to decode. "Hunters come. Must flee. Help. Please. Dr. Patel, can we move her?" Isabella demanded, watching fractures spread through the alien's crystalline form. "Her molecular structure is critically unstable," Patel replied, adjusting her scanner. "The transit alone could shatter her, but..." The doctor's eyes widened as she studied a particular reading. "Captain, her quantum signature is resonating with our ship's dark matter core. If we could somehow synchronize the frequencies." Another burst of images from the crystal being. Technical schematics and theoretical physics that made Isabella's head spin. The alien wasn't just asking for rescue. She was offering the knowledge they'd need to save her. "The hunters will be in weapons range in 3 minutes," Walsh reported. "Their vessels are consuming the background radiation. I've never seen anything like it." Isabella made her decision. "Kaido, initiate emergency power protocols. Reroute everything we can spare to the dark matter core. Dr. Patel, start feeding these alien schematics into the ship's quantum computer. We're going to attempt something that's either brilliant or suicidal." The crystal being's form brightened momentarily. Approval, Isabella somehow knew. But the alien's next transmission carried something else. Warning. The hunters weren't just pursuing her. They were pursuing her knowledge. If they captured her, they would gain the secrets of stellar engineering that her civilization had developed over millennia. 2 minutes to intercept, Walsh announced. "The hunter vessels are. They're bending light around themselves. Our targeting systems can't get a lock." "Everyone back to the shuttle," Isabella ordered. "Doctor, help me set up a quantum resonance field. We're going to try to stabilize her structure long enough for transport." As they worked, the crystal beam shared one final series of images, the hunters consuming transformed stars, using the stolen energy to create weapons that could unmake reality itself. The fate of more than one civilization now rested on their success or failure. The hunters' ships loomed closer, their black forms visible now as holes in space itself, consuming the light of the dying star. Inside the alien vessel, Isabella and her team raced against time, using technology they barely understood to save a being they had just met. "Field stabilizing," Dr. Petal reported, her voice tense with concentration. "But we need more power. The resonance isn't strong enough to maintain her quantum cohesion during transport." Isabella looked at their visitor, seeing in those crystalline facets not just an alien being, but a person. Someone who had lost everything but still fought to protect others from her people's fate. "Prometheus, divert power from life support and artificial gravity. Everything except emergency systems. Give us everything you've got." The hunter vessels opened fire, their weapons releasing streams of anti-light that began to dissolve the crystalline ship's outer layers. Through their mental connection, Isabella felt the aliens' fear, not for herself, but for them. The hunters would show no mercy to those who aided their prey. As emergency klaxons blared and the ship's systems strained under the power demands, Isabella faced a truth that would haunt her forever. Sometimes the price of compassion was facing an enemy you were never meant to survive. The crystal being's light pulsed once more, sharing not just information now, but emotion, gratitude, hope, and something else. A gift, encoded in mathematical patterns that began rewriting the Prometheus's quantum systems from the inside out. The hunters closed in, their weapons ready to harvest another civilization's dreams. But on the dying crystal ship, humanity was about to prove that courage could rewrite the laws of physics themselves. Hunters in the dark. The Prometheus shuddered as another anti-light beam grazed its shields, leaving patches of absolute darkness that seemed to eat away at reality itself. On the bridge, Commander Walsh watched in horror as the ship's energy readings dropped to critical levels. "Port shields failing," he announced, rerouting emergency power. "These weapons, they're not just destroying our defenses, they're consuming them." Through the quantum link established during the rescue, the crystal being, who had conveyed that her name translated roughly to resonance, shared crucial tactical information. The hunters' vessels weren't simply ships. They were living voids, entities that had evolved to feed on the energy of dying stars and advanced civilizations. "Their weakness is their hunger," Isabella said, understanding flowing through the mathematical patterns resonance projected. "They can't stop consuming energy once they start. Lieutenant Nakamura, plot a course through the star's outer corona." "Captain," Walsh protested, "our shields can't handle that kind of radiation, especially not in their current state." "Neither can they," Isabella replied, her gray eyes reflecting the tactical display's glow. "Their anti-light fields have to maintain perfect stability. Expose them to enough chaotic energy." Understanding dawned on Walsh's face. They'll either have to break off their attack or risk overfeeding. The Prometheus dove toward the dying red giant, its hull groaning under the gravitational stress. Behind them, the hunter vessels followed, their void-black forms distorting space itself as they moved. Inside the ship's medical bay, Dr. Patel worked frantically to stabilize Resonance's crystalline structure, which fluctuated dangerously with each gravitational wave. "Her matrix is adapting to our quantum field," Patel reported, "but these gravitational forces are pushing her to the breaking point. We need to end this quickly." Through their link, Resonance shared images of her people's last stand, how they had discovered that the hunters' greatest strength was also their terminal weakness. Their hunger for energy made them virtually invulnerable, but it also made them predictable. "Kaito," Isabella called over the ship's comm, "prepare to execute Protocol 0 on my mark. Engineering, I need everything you can give me in the dark matter core." The young lieutenant's hands flew over his controls, understanding the captain's plan without needing explanation. Protocol 0 was a theoretical emergency measure, never tested outside simulations. It would either save them or tear the ship apart. The hunters closed in, their weapons carving swaths of nothingness through space. The Prometheus's shields flickered and failed in sections, emergency force fields barely containing atmosphere in the affected areas. Through it all, Isabella felt Resonance's presence in her mind, offering tactical adjustments with mathematical precision. "They're hurting us," Walsh realized, studying the tactical display, "using the star's gravity well to trap us." "Good," Isabella smiled grimly. "That's exactly what we want them to think." Engineering, status of the dark matter core. Operating at 130% of design capacity, Chief Engineer Reza Terrani reported, his voice tight with tension. "The modifications Resonance provided are holding, but we're pushing the structural limits of the containment field." The hunters launched another barrage, this time targeting the Prometheus's engines. Void-black energy ate through the outer hull plating, alarms blaring as entire sections went dark. They were running out of time. "Now," Isabella ordered as they reached the precise point in space where the star's gravitational field intersected with the hunter's pursuit vector. "Execute Protocol 0. The Prometheus's dark matter core pulsed once, releasing a carefully calculated burst of exotic particles. At the same instant, Resonance channeled her remaining energy through the ship's quantum systems, adding her civilization's mastery of stellar engineering to the human theory. Space itself seemed to hiccup. The hunters' vessels, committed to their attack run, suddenly found themselves trying to consume not just normal energy, but a carefully crafted quantum shockwave that multiplied exponentially within their void fields. Their fields are destabilizing, Kaido reported, wonder in his voice. The energy consumption is cascading out of control. Through the view screen, they watched as the hunter vessels began to warp and twist, their perfect darkness corrupted by streaks of wild energy they couldn't contain. The void beings screamed in frequencies that made the Prometheus's quantum sensors overload and fail. Two of the hunter vessels disappeared in explosions of anti-light, their uncontrolled energy consumption finally reaching critical mass. The third, somehow surviving, turned to flee, only to be caught in the dying star's gravitational field, unable to power its engines enough to escape. "Engineering, get us out of here," Isabella ordered. "Best speed to safe distance." As the Prometheus limped away from the star, its hull scarred by patches of absolute darkness, Isabella felt Resonance's consciousness touch her mind once more. The crystal being shared not just gratitude, but validation. Her people had long theorized that younger races might find innovative solutions to the hunter's threat, seeing possibilities that an older civilization had overlooked. In the medical bay, Dr. Patel's sensors recorded something unprecedented. Resonance's crystalline structure was not just stabilizing, but evolving, adapting to incorporate aspects of human quantum technology that had never been combined with her people's stellar engineering principles. "Captain," Patel's excited voice came over the comm. "You need to see this. She's not just surviving, she's transforming. And she's taking our dark matter modifications with her." Isabella smiled, feeling the weight of command ease slightly. They had won this battle, but she knew it was only the beginning. The hunters would return, driven by their eternal hunger. But now, for the first time, they would face something unprecedented. Human ingenuity combined with crystalline wisdom. Through their quantum link, Resonance shared a final insight. Her people had sought to transcend mortality through transformation, but humanity had shown her that true transcendence came through connection, through the willingness to risk everything to save a single life, no matter how alien it might be. The Prometheus continued its retreat from the dying star, its systems already beginning to incorporate the changes born from this unique collaboration. In the darkness of space, a new kind of light began to shine, one that would change both species forever. Trust forged in starfire. The Prometheus's quantum lab had been transformed. Crystalline growths now lined the walls, pulsing with internal light that synchronized perfectly with the ship's dark matter core. Dr. Patel stood before her enhanced medical scanners, watching in amazement as Resonance's structure continued to evolve. "The integration is beyond anything we could have imagined," she told Isabella, gesturing to the holographic displays. "Her crystalline matrix isn't just adapting to our technology, it's improving it. The ship's efficiency has increased by 300%. Resonance hovered in the center of the lab, her form now a perfect fusion of crystalline architecture and human quantum engineering. Through their strengthened mental link, she shared images of possibility, technologies that could revolutionize human civilization while preserving its unique characteristics. The hunters didn't just destroy my people's bodies. Resonance communicated through the ship's upgraded systems, her thoughts now translating directly into human language. They consumed our transformed stars, vast networks of living computation that held the combined knowledge of eons. Isabella felt the deep sorrow behind those words. "But you managed to save something." "Yes." Resonance's form brightened. "I carry within my matrix the seeds of that knowledge. But it was incomplete, static. Until now. Your species' approach to quantum mechanics, your ability to conceptualize solutions that we had never considered, it's allowing the knowledge to grow again." Chief Engineer Tirani burst into the lab, his dark eyes wide with excitement. "Captain, you need to see this. The crystalline modifications to our engines, they're not just improving our systems, they're teaching them." Through the quantum link, Isabella saw what he meant. The Prometheus wasn't simply being enhanced, it was evolving, learning to adapt like a living thing. Resonance's gift of knowledge had transformed the ship into something entirely new. "The hunters will detect these changes," Resonance warned. They will come in greater numbers. My people tried to hide, to run. We forgot how to fight back. But humans, her form pulsed with admiration. You never stopped being warriors. Lieutenant Nakamura's voice came over the comm, tense with urgency. Captain, long-range sensors are detecting quantum disturbances. Multiple signatures, matching the Hunter vessel's subspace trail. They're converging on our position. Isabella straightened. How many? At least 12, maybe more. They're coordinating. I've never seen them move like this. Through their link, Resonance shared tactical data about the Hunter's hierarchy. The void beings they'd encountered before were merely scouts. What was coming now were the true predators, ancient entities that had consumed countless civilizations. We can't outrun them, Walsh said, studying the tactical projections, even with our enhanced engines. No, Isabella agreed. But maybe we don't have to. She turned to Resonance. Your people try to transcend physical form through stellar engineering. We humans tend to take a more direct approach. What if we combine both philosophies? Resonance's crystalline form shimmered as she processed the idea. Through their link, Isabella felt the moment when understanding struck. You want to weaponize the transformation process itself. The Hunters feed on energy, Isabella explained. So let's give them more than they can handle. Not just quantum energy, but the power of transformation itself. Dr. Patel looked up from her calculations. The crystalline matrix responds to conscious intent. If we could synchronize the entire crew's mental patterns through Resonance's quantum field, we could turn the whole ship into a transformation engine. Tyranny finished, already seeing the possibilities. Not to transcend physical form, but to weaponize the process of change itself. Resonance's form pulsed with newfound hope. My people sought to escape physical reality. But humans, you seek to master it, to reshape it. Together, perhaps we can do both. The next hours were a blur of activity. The entire crew worked to integrate Resonance's crystalline technology throughout the ship, while Dr. Paddle developed a way to link their minds through the quantum field. Engineer Tyranny modified the dark matter core to channel the combined power of human consciousness and crystalline transformation. Through it all, Isabella felt Resonance's presence growing stronger, more integrated with both the ship and its crew. The crystal being shared memories of her civilization's greatest achievements, while absorbing human concepts of strategy, adaptation, and defiance. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. Kaido announced as the Hunter fleet arrived. Their void fields they're different, more structured. These aren't mindless predators. They're tacticians. The Hunter vessels emerged from subspace like tears in reality itself, their forms so dark they made the surrounding stars seem dim. Through their quantum link, the crew felt Resonance's recognition. These were the entities that had led the destruction of her civilization, the apex predators of the cosmos. All hands, Isabella's voice rang through the ship. Prepare for transformation protocols. Remember your training. Let Resonance guide your thoughts, but keep your human integrity. We're not transcending our nature. We're weaponizing it. The Hunter fleet moved with terrible grace, spreading out to surround the Prometheus. Their void fields rippled with hungry anticipation, expecting easy prey. What they found instead was something unprecedented in their eons of existence. A human crew, their minds linked through alien crystalline technology, turning the very concept of transformation into a weapon. The battle that followed would reshape humanity's understanding of both warfare and evolution. But more importantly, it would prove that the greatest power in the universe wasn't the ability to transcend physical form. It was the courage to remain true to oneself while daring to change everything else. Commander Walsh looked at his tactical display, watching the Hunters close in. Whatever happens next, he said quietly, we've already proven something important. What's that? Isabella asked, feeling the crew's consciousness align through Resonance's quantum field. That humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our adaptability. He smiled grimly. It's our stubborn refusal to accept any limitations. even the laws of physics themselves. The Prometheus's crystalline additions began to pulse with building power as the Hunter fleet launched their attack. The true test of humanity's courage and Resonance's trust in her newfound allies was about to begin. Legacy of Two Worlds. Time seemed to slow as the Hunter fleet's first attack struck the Prometheus. But instead of consuming the ship's energy, their void weapons encountered something unprecedented. A quantum field infused with the combined will of the human crew, channeled through Resonance's crystalline matrix. Transformation field holding. Tyranny reported from engineering. His consciousness linked with every crew member through the quantum network. The Hunter's weapons, they're not just failing, they're being converted. Through their shared perception, the crew watched in awe as the patches of void darkness began to crystallize, transformed by the same principles that had nearly destroyed Resonance's people, but repurposed by human ingenuity into something entirely new. They're attempting to adapt, Kaido observed, his thoughts flowing through the quantum link, reformulating their void fields to resist the transformation. Isabella felt Resonance's presence strengthen in her mind. Then let's show them what true adaptation looks like. All hands, execute Evolution Protocol Alpha. The Prometheus's crystalline additions flared with blinding light as the crew's collective consciousness surged through the quantum field. They weren't just fighting back, they were rewriting the rules of engagement with every passing second. Their flagship is changing course, Walsh announced. They've never retreated before. Not according to Resonance's records. The lead Hunter vessel, a massive void in space larger than all the others combined, suddenly shifted its attack. Instead of trying to consume energy, it began emitting waves of anti-light that threatened to unravel the very fabric of space-time around the Prometheus. They're trying to collapse our quantum field by destabilizing local reality, Dr. Puddle realized, her thoughts tinged with both fear and fascination. If they succeed. They won't, Isabella interrupted, feeling Resonance's agreement pulse through their link. Because they've just shown us their true fear. Lieutenant Nakamura, plot a course directly for their flagship. Engineer Tyranny, divert all power to the transformation field. Captain, Walsh's thoughts carried concern of direct confrontation. Is exactly what they don't expect, Isabella completed. They've spent eons consuming civilizations that tried to run or hide. Let's see how they handle one that charges straight at them. The Prometheus surged forward, its crystalline additions blazing like captured stars. Through their quantum link, every crew member felt Resonance's revelation. The Hunter's greatest weakness wasn't physical. It was their inability to comprehend sacrifice, to understand that some principles were worth dying for. The Void flagship's attack intensified, reality itself buckling under the strain. Warning alarms blared throughout the Prometheus as systems began to fail under the enormous stress. Structural integrity at 40%, Tyranny reported. The quantum field is barely holding. Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7, Walsh added. Emergency force fields failing. But through their mental link, Isabella felt something else. A growing resonance between the crew's determination and the crystalline technology. They weren't just using Resonance's gift. They were transcending its original purpose. Now, Isabella commanded as they reached the critical point. Full power to the transformation matrix. The Prometheus's dark matter core pulsed once, channeling the combined will of every crew member through Resonance's crystalline network. The transformation field exploded outward, not seeking to consume or destroy, but to change. The Void flagship's perfect darkness began to crack, lines of crystalline light spreading through its structure like living lightning. The Hunter vessel tried to retreat, but it was too late. The transformation had begun. Their void field is collapsing, Kaido reported in wonder. The other Hunters. They're breaking formation. Through their quantum link, the crew felt Resonance's triumph as the flagship's darkness gave way to light. The Hunters had sought to consume evolution itself, but they had never faced a species that embraced change while remaining true to their core nature. The transformed flagship hung in space like a newborn star, its structure now a perfect fusion of crystalline architecture and human quantum engineering. The remaining hunter vessels flowed into subspace, their confidence shattered by the sight of their leader's metamorphosis. In the quantum lab, resonances form pulsed with renewed energy. My people sought to transcend physical form. Her thoughts echoed through the crew's linked minds. We forgot that true transcendence comes not from escaping what we are, but from becoming more than we ever imagined possible. And the transformed hunter vessel? Isabella asked, though she already sensed the answer through their link. A bridge, Resonance replied, her crystalline form shimmering with possibility. Between what was and what could be. The hunters sought to consume evolution. Instead, they will become part of it. And through them, we can begin to restore what was lost. The Prometheus's systems slowly returned to normal as the transformation field stabilized. Through the view screen, the crystalline structure that had once been the Hunter flagship pulsed with new life, a testament to humanity's courage and Resonance's wisdom. We should contact Earth, Walsh suggested, his thoughts still linked with the crew's. They'll need to know about everything. Isabella smiled, feeling Resonance's agreement. Yes, but first, I think we need to understand exactly what we've become. She turned to the crystal being who had changed everything. You sought sanctuary among the stars. Instead, you found partners. More than partners, Resonance communicated, her thoughts reaching every crew member. My people believed that transcendence meant leaving physical form behind. You've shown us a different path, one where we evolve not by abandoning what we are, but by sharing what we could become. The Prometheus turned toward Earth, its crystalline additions now permanently part of its structure. In its wake, the transformed hunter vessel pulsed with promising light, not just a trophy of victory, but a symbol of what was possible when courage met wisdom across the cosmic divide. The crew's quantum link gradually faded, but something remained, a connection forged in the heart of battle, an understanding that would change both species forever. They had faced the darkness between stars and transformed it into light, not through overwhelming force, but through the simple, profound truth that evolution's greatest power lay not in escape, but in union. As Earth's distant sun appeared on their sensors, Isabella felt Resonance's final thought echo through her mind. Your people have a saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Perhaps that is the greatest truth of all. That transcendence comes not from rising above what we are, but from joining together to become something greater than we ever dreamed possible.